Hello guys, welcome back to ESENtaxa. Andrea Mapito here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Inpatriate Regime and especially the news on the Inpatriate Regime 2023. If you're new to this channel, ESENtaxa talks about how to optimize your taxation if you want to relocate in Italy. And we are the #1 channel that explains in English language everything about the Italian taxation and how to squeeze your taxation in certain cases down to zero. And we go very in details in each and every law and each and every regulation that are coming up from the Italian government. In the description below the video you have our info contact link, info@esentaxa.com, or alternatively you can have 50-minute call in which we can drive you through our services and we can understand exactly what kind of consultation you need to have in order to planify a long-term tax strategy in Italy. Before I move forward, I just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content, notification bell and like button. So let's move straight to the point. Inpatriate Regime. We have extensively talked about the Inpatriate Regime in this channel, so I just summarize quickly what it's about, and in the description below the video I will still put the links in which we have introduced this tax regime. Inpatriate Regime is the most famous tax incentive. Inpatriate, let's call it like this, regime, which is the English translation of Regime Inpatriati in Italian, is the famous tax regime that allows you to exclude from taxation 90% of your income if you relocate in the south of Italy. So 90% of your income will be excluded from taxation. So only 10% of your income will be taxed under the Italian tax brackets, the ordinary tax brackets. Or if you move in the north or center of Italy, this is 70% tax exemption, income exemptions, okay? Just to give you an example, if you have 100,000 euro as income, only 30% of this income will be taxed at the ordinary Italian tax bracket rate, okay? Which is called RPF. Now, this is the Inpatriate Regime, how it works. Sometimes you also have heard about inbound worker regime, which is actually exactly the same thing. It's just a different name. Keep in mind that the Inpatriate Regime seems to be the best solution ever, but is not always the best case, because sometimes, based on your income, you might not see this regime convenient. This threshold is not so precise, so it's based on the situation, based on the code activity, but most likely we suggest that above this 120k as income, so the Inpatriate Regime is not so convenient how it might seem to be, because we are going to, for example, remove 90% of our income from 120k, which means that only 20k of it will be under the RPF taxation. So only 20k will be taxed at the 23% tax rate, okay? So which makes only 2.3% tax rate if we consider everything together. But the problem is the following, is that up to 170,000 euro, more or less, now I don't remember exactly the number, but it's indexed every thought year number of years. Under this revenue here, 170,000 per year, you have to pay the social contribution in Italy, which is the famous INPS. And in Italy, the social contribution is quite high. So you have to pay 26% of this 170,000 euro. 170,000 euro is the threshold above which you don't pay anymore the social security. So, of course, if you have an income of 120,000 euro, up to 117,000, you pay 26% to the INPS, and what remains will have the deduction of this 90% or 70% based on your geographical relocation. So be careful about this point. Sometimes we have also discussed about that INPS can be calculated after the deduction. So you first deduct 90% on 12, and then you calculate the INPS only here and not on 120,000. But this is something that the Social Contribution Institute in Italy didn't clarify yet. So we have explained in a different video why we have this discrepancy, why this has been not clarified, and which are the only official sources that we can consider or we can take into account in case of correct calculation. This is something that has to be analyzed correctly in the consultancy. Again, in the description below the video, we have our consultancy link or contact info@esentaxa.com, or a free 50-minute consultation. So that's the reason why we not always recommend to use the Inpatriate regime, also because of other reasons, because of other criteria. But sometimes is the forfeit regime more convenient if your income is below this threshold. Because the forfeit regime has this 5% flat tax, which doesn't accumulate your income with the RPF taxation, so this is very important. You don't have VAT on your invoices, even inside the domestic Italian exchange of services of goods. And also the forfeit regime has this forfeit cost, which is actually tax-free, or it's something that the state assumes that your income has a certain forfeit cost, so you don't have to account the real cost. This makes more convenient in terms of accountability. So this means that here the accountant is less expensive, while in the Inpatriate regime, in case if you are self-employed or a freelancer, of course, you have to pay the accountancy in a normal way, so with an ordinary rates. So those are the considerations based on your income. So if your fall or if your situation is on the limit, is on this border, I would suggest you to have a consultation with us. With us, we can actually tell you which could be the best solution in your specific situation. Thank you very much. See you to the next content. ESENtaxa here, Andrea Papito, and thank you for watching this video. Bye.